What is poppin', y'all, everybody? It's your man, Cloudboy Bales, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly, where we go over each predictions of the week. Anyways, if you like what you see, subscribe below and comment with your thoughts, and let's get down to business. Week 6. We are already to week 6. Teams on bye this week are the Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, Miami Dolphins, and the Minnesota Vikings. Both the Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings are the only two teams remaining that are undefeated, and they are both on bye this week. But a lot to go over. First off, on Thursday, we have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. And normally, I would sit there and say, oh, this should be an easy win for San Francisco. But Seattle's kind of battled through, but the last two games Seattle played weren't as great. So I'm not sure if Seattle's a good team or if they're just a mid-team like they are. They've really been the last couple of years. If I had to pick, I'm going to just say San Francisco gets the victory. However, it's pretty much proven that San Francisco is beatable, and I think a lot of people are seeing that. Going on to Sunday, a lot of matchups. We have another one in London. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who for some reason play in London every year, taking on the Chicago Bears. This will be interesting. I mean, Jacksonville finally got their first win of the season. You know, it came on a complete thriller with the Colts, but, I had to think about this one for a little while. And between the two, maybe the Bears are starting to get some momentum right now. So I'm just going to take the Bears. I really don't know what it is, but that's how I feel. Next up, Arizona Cardinals at Green Bay Packers. Green Bay won a good comeback victory against the Rams. The Arizona Cardinals also came back and upset the San Francisco 49ers. Between the two teams, I'm just going to go with the home team here. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers. I feel like they should win. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, the practices go well this week. Next up, Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans. The Colts might be going with Joe Flacco again. Tennessee Titans, on the other hand, did get a victory 2 weeks ago, but are they really legitimate? I mean, these two teams are just terrible. I mean, it's hard. Everybody knows that, and everybody can see it. That division's just an absolute joke. But I guess the Colts have been playing a lot better, so I'm gonna go with them. Next up, Houston Texans at New England Patriots. New England has finally decided to start Drake May. It took them a while, but they finally are going to give him the green light. But I don't think it will matter. I think Houston still gets the victory here. Next, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. Even though it's in New Orleans, I don't really have faith that Jake Haener can deliver a victory for the Saints. I don't think the Saints are going to win many games, especially without Derek Carr with his oblique injury he suffered at the very end of the Monday Night Football game. I think Tampa Bay will get the win against New Orleans. Next up, Cleveland Browns at Philadelphia Eagles. I think Cleveland is just an absolute joke. Philadelphia is overrated, so low-key you could actually say that Cleveland could win, but it's hard for me to not pick the Eagles in this one, so I'm going to take Philly. Next up, Washington Commanders at Baltimore Ravens. Jaden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson is going to be a real good one. How about Jaden Daniels? He's the favorite to win Rookie of the Year right now. What a season he's had. This is going to be a very interesting game. However, I think I'll just go with the home team on this one as well. I think hopefully we see another good game out of Jaden Daniels, but I think Baltimore will get the victory here. Next up, Los Angeles Chargers at Denver Broncos. I don't think Denver's as bad as a team as people think. They looked bad, but they got a good, promising victory against the Vegas Raiders, and I feel like they could continue with that. However, this is just one of those games where you think Denver's going to win, but for some reason, I'm just actually going to take the Chargers on this one. Weirdly enough, hopefully the bye week really helped them. Next up, Pittsburgh Steelers at Las Vegas Raiders. One of the oldest rivalry games in all of sports, knowing everything of their history. The Raiders have won the last couple games. No Davante Adams once again. But I think Pittsburgh, and these situations. They don't do well in prime time, but for some reason, I'm just going to take the Vegas Raiders. I don't know. And then, what was I going to do? Okay, next up, we have the Detroit Lions taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Interestingly enough, that was a matchup like a year ago. 1 year ago. And we saw what happened. Dan Skipper reported in as eligible, and then the refs decided to screw them over just like they always do against the Cowboys. I think Detroit's going to get finally a victory against Dallas. I think this is a revenge game. I'm picking Detroit. And if you didn't hear me, I'm picking Vegas. Sorry. I thought something distracted me, and I had no idea what that was. I'm going to take Detroit. I'm going to take Vegas. And then the other game that's on Fox at 3:25 is the Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers. At this point, taking Carolina is just like, I don't even know how you would even want to take Carolina. I'm taking the Falcons. Another loss with Andy Dalton is going to make them go back to Bryce Young, but what difference does it make? And then Sunday Night Football, Cincinnati Bengals at New York Giants. I don't know who came up with this matchup, but Cincinnati, I think, last week looked a lot more promising. I'm hoping they could continue to start actually winning games here, because this would be a bad look for them. I'm going to take the Bengals. And then Monday Night Football, we have the rematch that happened week 1 of last year that Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. He will finally get to play the Bills. New York is hosting them. This will be a great game. But, of course, the big story was Robert Saleh just got fired yesterday. And it's crazy. It's just a crazy story that this happened. Buffalo's on a 2-game skid right now. They really need to get themselves a victory here. If I had to look, normally whenever they fire a coach, the very next week they look different. But it's like, if they really wanted to fire someone, it would be Nathaniel Hackett. Saleh just seemed really odd. The whole situation is really odd. But I feel like Buffalo kind of needs this more. I just don't see New York really kind of falling in a good place. Aaron Rodgers just hasn't looked that good. So if I had to choose between the two teams, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. So if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and as always, we will see you next time.